All right. Thanks, guys.
Uh, um, I think that I want to start out with some context and can we turn that off, Bill? So a lot of the work currently and a lot of what is there another one going? Can we get that?
You know you're over 50 when you can't stand sounds.
Yeah, I just want quiet.
Yeah.
It's not like my house too, just quiet. I got this baby there.
Oh.
Babies and unnecessary noises. I talked to him today. Today he was being a real, she don't like it that I call him that, but he was being a real dick. You know what I mean? He really was. I don't know that a 5-month-old could be a dick, but he figured it out today, I want to give some context about the work because I think it's important everyone know the stance that I take. Either way, this showed up in your life, whatever problematic difficulties showed up in your life, whether you're here for a loved one or you're here because of your trouble that you generally got in or whatever. Um, I think that there's a point to it. And it's not that it's a tragedy, and it's not that it's this, or it's not that it's bad. It's that what is this about? Why did this thing happen in my life? And to take the parents here and to take people that are, it's about what you learn about yourself. And I think that that's all that it's about, really. It's about how deeply we can look at these parts of ourselves and how deeply we can get to know ourselves, how deeply we can get to know these voices that you hear, I'd like to help you guys colorize that because it's not just one voice that you hear. So I'd like to help you understand that what we have going here is a feedback loop. Do you know that you're involved in a feedback loop? Do you know that all day you're doing things and something's telling you to do something and then something's telling you shouldn't have done that and something's saying, hey, why did you do that? And someone's saying you should have done it like this. And that's not just one thing. And first of all, I want people to know that that's not one thing. Secondly, I want people to understand that that is a system that you are being operated by and you are being thought of by a system. And that system is operating you. And I think we need to wake up to that we have a system of parts that is operating us. We have a judgmental part. We have a driven part. We have a guilty part. We have a shameful part. We have a analytical part. We have a money part. We have all these parts. And what this does when it prompts us to deal with difficulty is it's a suggestion that we need to see what is difficult about this and what parts are leading us. And so I want to ask a question first of all is of all tonight you came here and something motivated you to come here. A part of you said, hey, we're going here and this is why. So like if you're a parent, we have you come here and maybe you come here, maybe a lot of it predominantly be like, I came here because a part of me says I got to show up. Okay, that could be an answer. Some of you came here because, I'm in the program and I'm forced. And a part of me says, you're forced, you got to go. And some of you maybe have come here because maybe profoundly it would be that you came here because a part of you wants to learn. I don't buy it, but maybe. Maybe there's a part of you that says, hey, maybe I need to go and listen and I might learn something. Maybe there's that part. So I'm going to ask that tonight is be interactive a little bit. And I want to get a few people to kind of bring forth some of their parts and tell me, and let's see if we can talk to them. Let's see if we can figure out what drove you to be here and what you need to get out of this. And so I don't normally do this. Normally I squawk for a while longer, but I want people to understand something. So we got new people. We've got people for the first time. I want you to kind of see if you can figure out why you're here. I mean, really. See if you can actually look in and listen and hear and see what it is that honestly brought you here. You know, a lot of you might be here just a possibility. You might look and you might find that you're here because it's about looking good. And that could be a truthful thing. If somebody could mention that, I'm here because it looks good. And if I didn't come here, it looks stupid and I'd look like a bad person. Well, that's honestly a motivation for some people to be here. So I want to start out with somebody, you know, if you got like a drug problem, you know, that ain't all of you, that's a part of you. If you got another problem, that ain't all of you, that's a part of you. So I want to kind of get down with some parts of people here. So I want to start out with anyone that's new, someone raise their hand, someone kind of get on the court with me, and let's see what we can do. And by the way, I don't do this very often, so who knows how the hell it's going to turn out. You know, it might end up that a part of me looks stupid. I'll be all right with that. Who's first?
All right, let's go.
Well, I'm Charlotte,
Okay, Charlotte.
and I am here because I want to learn as well, and I'm here to support my daughter. And I am reading the book, now Internal Family System,
Okay.
and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm learning stuff myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's healing for me as well.
Okay, in what way?
Oh gosh, about my parts.
Okay. Okay.
And for example, I don't know, I want to say that I don't know if I complain or whine about stuff too much. I've got to, count my blessings and, be grateful that I know where she's at.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now let's start somewhere. Now she said that now do you all know that we're involved, that there's an internal war going on inside of us? Do you understand that? Do you understand that there is discrepancy between amongst the masses of inside of us, the parts of us? So on one hand, did you say that did you hear her say that she complains a lot? You heard that. So she's talking about a part of her that complains a lot. Then on the other hand, did you hear that she said she should be grateful? Right? Didn't I hear that? So do you see that there is a conflicting message? Should she complain a lot or should she be grateful? Now, what do you do about that? How do you settle the war?
When I'm talking to myself,
Okay.
and I, tell myself, oh gosh, sorry, and it's like I tell myself to knock it off.
Okay.
And
Now I want you to hear something. I want you to know that she said when I'm talking to myself. Now I want to get real detailed. Pay attention and raise your hand if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I want you to understand that she said when I'm talking to myself. See, she's not talking to herself. She's not doing the talking. A part of her is speaking. Now, I want you to understand this, and I want everyone to get what this looks like. When we talk about an internal family, what we're talking about is us as a parent listening to our children. So when we say that there's a war going on here, there's infighting amongst the children. So what she's saying is one of her parts complains a lot. And she's saying that another part of her part brings gratitude. Now, and then you said when I'm talking to myself. Okay. Who are you? Are you the part talking or are you the part listening?
both.
How so?
Um,
Now I want to give an example.
yes.
Okay. I'm sitting at a stoplight the other day. Okay. I've made a deal with my parts. There's a real serious part of me that doesn't like me on my cell phone in the car. And he says, God, don't pick up that phone. Don't do it. You're going to get in an accident. You're going to not be a father for your son. Something's going to happen. Don't pick up the phone. And then there's another part of me that says, grab that phone. A real childlike part of me that when I'm driving, pulls me to that phone, says, grab it. Just grab it. You're bored. Just look at it. Somebody might be texting. Did you hear the ding? You got to grab it. You got to check it. You can't just, something could have happened. You got to get on there, right? So now the serious part and that part are at a war. When do I use my phone? And I'm listening to these two. Now I'm not talking to them. They're talking to me. The older brother, he says, don't get on the phone. The younger brother says, get on the phone, right? That's my internal family that's happening. So I brokered a deal between these two, that I get to look at my phone on the stoplights. The younger part of me got its way and said to the older part of me, hey, what about just stoplights? Could we just do it at stoplights? And then the older part of me went, all right, but I got my eye on you. You're probably going to try to take it past stoplights and grab it when you're driving around. Something like that. And I said, okay, but we got a deal, stoplights. So I'm at a stoplight the other day, and I want to show you how beautiful my system is, okay? How it protects me. I'm at a stoplight, and what happens is I get on my phone, and for some reason, I'm not paying attention, and I just start going. Well, the problem with that was the light was red. Okay? And I just start going through the intersection because I was on my phone. Well, as I did that, the things are honking, and I go through the light. People are honking at me. Whoa! In an instant, this glorious part of me goes, you'll just tell her that you had to go to the bathroom. Now, do you understand what happened there? Okay, I want you to picture it like this. I want you to picture a father with his children in the car. And I want you to picture the little kid begging to get on the phone. And then I want the little kid got us on his way, and we all got on the phone. And then that happened. And I got this older brother that's not a snitch. He's a real protector. And he came up with an alibi in an instant. Because what if my wife sees me on the red light camera running a red light, not on and on my phone? What was I going to tell her? So do you see how that part of me now created the alibi for if she sees me, I've already got the cover story, I had to go to the bathroom. Now I want you to see the beauty in that. Now I want you to see what leadership looks like. Because at one point I had to say to my young child that got me on the phone and say, hey man, you really screwed us here. And then I had to say to the older brother that came up with the alibi, not necessary. I don't need to lie to my wife. You see, that's me leading the parts. Now, if I wasn't leading my parts, I would have just stuck with the alibi. Okay. So one of the things that I need you to understand when you're doing this work is none of it's you. The only kind of talking that we do to our parts is we question them. If you're not questioning them, then you're not doing the talking, they are. See? So if a part of me, like I'm in the shower, and I'm getting ready to play in a poker tournament Sunday, and there is a voice that comes in and it says to me like this: what if you never get to see your son grow up? Now, I want you to know that's not me. I didn't come up with that. I didn't think that. I didn't initiate that. So I want you to know the depths of this. See, you got this human system that you're in here operating, but you're not operating it. It's operating you. And I know you're not operating it because you're not questioning it. You see? Right now, if something tells me to grab this cup of coffee and I grab this cup of coffee, that ain't me. I am following instructions from a system. You see? So to get to know yourself means to question everything. Why did you just say that to me about my son? You see, that's me talking to my parts. Why'd you just say that to me about my son? And if I listen, it's going to talk back. It's going to say something to the extent of, you need to spend more time with him. You should be grateful for him. So think, that part of me was really trying to operate me and trying to get me to be with my son more. And it got tired of trying to get me to be with my son more, so it scared me. You see? So I want you to start being able to, in this work, I want you to start being able to be one, the listener and the questioner. When we listen and we question, I mean everything. You know, somebody in the middle of this thing is going to get up and get a cup of coffee. And what they don't know is something told them to get up and grab some coffee. And what they don't know even worse is they just got taken by a part of them and told to do something. And even in that, I would say, if something tells you to get up and grab a cup of coffee, you should ask why. Because it might be telling you something else. Now, we got a new guy that struggles with drugs here. Anyone, what's your name that came here tonight for a little help? What's your name? RJ? Is that your
Rush.
Rush? I like that better. I heard that better. That's why I wanted to skip RJ because I like that word. I heard Rush today and I thought that's a cool fucking name. I haven't heard that before. Okay, Rush, what's your problem?
Drugs.
Okay, what party loves that?
What part of me?
Yeah.
Really no part of me, but it's just
No. Now listen. Did you do any drugs today? Why not?
it's-
See, I'm gonna teach you something real quick, Rush. I'm gonna change your life in a second.
Job.
Okay, what part of you didn't want to lose your job? I want you to look. See, I want you to understand something. There's a part of you that didn't want you to lose your job, and that was a powerful part today. And it told you, let's not do drugs and lose our job, right? Okay, you getting sad right now? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm tired.
Okay. All right, now. Do you know that there's a part of you that takes you to do drugs?
What part of me?
Yeah, part of you. Picture it. Picture that voice that says, "Come on, man, let's go get high."
Yeah.
You know about that voice?
Yeah.
And you haven't heard it lately, right? What are you gonna do if what are you gonna do if it shows up again and asks you to go get high?
Usually I go and get high.
And that's right. And that's right, because guess what? When you hear that voice, you think it's you. So you say, I'm thinking I got to go get high. But I want you to recognize something. I want you to wake up. I want you to wake up that that's not you. That's just a voice. Very similar to like your friend telling you, let's go get high. You know, but it's not. It's just inside here. So you got a voice inside you that says, hey, let's go get drugs. Now, what do you think that voice that says, let's go get drugs wants for you?
You go get drugs?
No, but why? Why?
That's what it's used to. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what do you feel when you get drugs? Do you feel peace? Not anymore? Did you used to?
I used to enjoy it back when, but now it's just now it's just to do it. You know?
Okay. So let's say this. You got a part of you that used to take care of you. And the way it took care of you is it told you, let's go get high. And the way that was benefiting you was it would make you feel better. You'd find some little bit of joy. Correct? Okay. I want you to know the difficulty that you're going to have staying sober is your ability to spot that part of you in the future. And your ability to question that part of you. So in the future, when it says to you, hey, let's go do some drugs, what do you want? And it doesn't just say to you, I want to do drugs. It's going to say to you, I want peace. And I want you to thank it, that part of you. It really did a good job for you. You know? It really did. You're on fire and it gave you a fire extinguisher. That's pretty good. You see? That's a pretty smart part of you. So we don't admonish these parts of ourselves. We talk to them. You see? You know, there's a part of me that wants to eat really bad food. And he shows up and he says, French fries and burgers. And for a long time, I just listened because I thought it was me that wanted that. So then I would say to people, I want French fries and burgers. And it would seem pretty logical that in the next hour, I was eating French fries and burgers. I got that kind of money. You see? I can go get that if I need it. So all of a sudden now, if this part of me said it wants French fries and burgers, that's what I'm doing. There's no other possibility for me. Now, what happens now when that part of me says that? I ask it why. I say to it, what do you want? What is it? How is this going to benefit us? And I talk back to my parts. And I say to that part, hey, what do you want from me? What do you want? Why do you want this hamburger and fries? And you know what's happened since I now question that part of myself? I've empowered the other parts of my family to speak up, the parts that I've silenced for a long time. And now all of a sudden I got like an older brother that when I say I don't want fries and I talk to the kids, say not today to that part of me. There's other parts of me that comes up with glorious ideas like salads and shit. It's nuts. And I've been stifling those parts of me and I've been disempowering them because I only listen to this part. You see? So what I want you to get out of tonight is that we are operated by a feedback loop and you're not even present to it. It's operating on its own and the feedback's between all of the children. And what I'm asking you to do is I'm saying, can you take a spot above the children talking and question each one of the parts of you that's talking? And if you're doing a negative behavior that you don't like, there's a part of you that keeps telling you to do that. And it silenced the other parts of you that think you shouldn't do it, and they don't get activated again until after you do it. Don't you ever notice that there's a part of you that wants the cookies and the cake, and then you have the cookies and the cake, and then the other parts speak up, you shouldn't have done that. Why'd you do that? We feel like shit. Don't you know that? That's a feedback loop. You see? And the way that we get engaged is we begin to take a look and we begin to question each command that our parts are giving us. We begin to listen to each part of ourselves and question each command that we've been given, down to why you get out of bed. You know, to get out of bed, a part of you had to tell you to get out of bed. Now, I don't know if Rush learned anything tonight, but I want you to know that all of Rush doesn't want to get high. And that there's many parts of him that feel horrible after he does. And there's many parts of him, and the part that gets him high is not the same part that feels horrible. That's a different part. You see? So in order for Rush to actually have the chance at changing before the consequences get too bad, you know, there's a thing called the stages of change. And what that means is that human beings don't change on their own. It means they go through stages of change. It's got to get real bad. So the stages of change are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, and action, and maintenance, which means I don't think about changing at all. I just do the behavior. Then I slightly start thinking about changing because of some consequences. Then I really start thinking about changing. And then finally I get ready to change. And then finally I change due to consequences. Now, I am sharing with you, hopefully, a technology for change before consequences. I'm suggesting that we don't have to go that far. I'm suggesting that if we talk to the parts of us that want certain things, we can figure out what they really want. Like the part of you that brought you here. I know you're gonna think, I'd like people to raise their hand and say, what brought you here tonight? I'm gonna almost 100% guarantee that you're being lied to. That you're gonna tell me you came here for some reason, and by the time I'm done, I'm gonna figure out that was a lie. And that's deep. Because what our parts want, they don't tell us. You see, the part of me didn't say, spend more time with your son. It said, it scared me and said, what if your son and you don't get to know each other because one of you dies? Now, why did that part do that? You know, maybe he started with, hey, just spend more time with your son. Maybe he started with, hey, it's a little wrong that you're leaving for a week. And maybe he started there real small. But see, I'm the CEO of this company and I wasn't listening. So he walked into my office and he said the worst thing you could say. You see? Okay, I hope some people are starting to get it. And if you're not, ask. But, you know, and I don't mean to, you know, this is not, I don't mean to like not give you a safe space. You see? But whatever part of you wants a safe space, tell that part to shut up. I'm serious. Whatever part of you is concerned, ask it why it's concerned. And it probably said something like, this ain't a safe space. Well, yeah. It doesn't want you now ask it what it wants. It doesn't want a safe space, it just doesn't want you to look stupid. Okay? Who got a reason they came here tonight? What brought you here? You know, you had like an assistant that came into your office and it said, we need to go to Solution Group, and here's why. And then you got in the car and came here. And you didn't question why you're coming here. And I think that that's a problem. I think that if you came here tonight, there should have been some deep questioning on why you came here. You see? Well, I'm here because I have to be. No, you don't. That's a part of you just copping out. Yes.
For us, or for me, it's like part of the family now. That's what we do. You know, it just feels like that's where we need to go. That's where we need to be for our son. And actually for the rest of the family if they ever show up. But it feels to me that's just what we need to do.
Okay, but let's dig into that. What part of you needs to do that?
Well, it's been so many years that we've been disconnected that we were never included. You know, our son just did his own thing and I couldn't control it. His dad couldn't control it. It just got out of hand.
So is there another part of you there's a part of you that thinks you just need to show up? And a lot of people have been coming here for a lot of years because they need to show up. I don't want to talk to that part that thinks you need to show up. So let's talk to a different part. Is there any part of you that thinks that you need to learn something?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what does that part think that you need to learn? Because you've obviously now remember I'm going to get down to the you've obviously talked to that part and you've had a discussion about what it is that you need to learn. It gave you feedback about what you need to learn. So go ahead and tell us what that part told you about what you need to learn.
Well, the whole addiction thing to me, I thought that I knew about it, but I really don't. I didn't. I'm learning more about it now. And I feel more connected with my son now, and I kind of understand what he was going through. Yeah,
Okay.
coming here it connects.
Okay, so again, I want to talk to the part of you that needs to learn something from me right now tonight. Okay? I want you to really see something. I don't believe you. And this is where I'm harsh on people, but I don't believe you because I know it all too well. I want really what it is that part thinks that you need to learn. Because obviously you've talked to it. You see? What I want you to do is I want you to talk to the part that thinks you need to learn. So there's a voice in your head that thinks you need to learn something. See, I want you to see, and I want everyone to kind of see that that's not happening for her. That she just made it up.
You make it up.
Okay. She's look, Sherry, I'm just telling you, I want you to be very leery of what's going on right now.
You scaring me?
I'm trying to. I want you to be leery of what's going on. I want you to slow it down. You see, if there was a voice that said, hey, you need to learn something.
I'm trying.
Okay, I got it. I got that you're trying. I got that you're trying.
Yeah,
Okay. Now let's talk to the part of you that just said you're trying. Why did it say that?
because I'm learning small bits.
Okay, no. It just said, a part of you just said, I'm trying. Why did it say that? What does it want? It doesn't want to learn or grow. It wants to try. It wants to show you that it tried. It wants to tell us that you tried.
I want to keep going.
Okay, all right.
She says.
Now, I want you to know that if a part of her said she needs to be here to grow, and any of you, what would it look like if a part of us, how would a part of us tell us we need to grow? What part of us would do that? Has any one of you ever had a part of you say you need to grow? Like you're just driving in your car and a part of you goes, you need to grow. Have you ever had that? Maybe a part of you says you need to change after you've done some colossal messing up. But I want you to get real clear with yourself. I want you to tell me what that would look like and how shocking it would be to hear from a part of yourself that you need to grow. I would say that would be unique and weird and that it wouldn't happen. A part of us might say, you're a piece of shit. A part of us might say, you're no good, you're stupid all the time. But we don't have parts of us talking about growth. That's the whole point. That's like a bunch of children. If you had a bunch of children in a house, which one would say we need to get better? With no parents. You see, we've got a system here of inner children and parts of ourselves that have been developed over the years, and none of them think they need to grow. In fact, they're not growing. In fact, if you look at the parts of yourself, there's no growth. They've been saying the same shit for years. Look, you got the same shit going on. The parts of ourselves keep warning you about the same bullshit. You're too much this, you're too that. I don't like that guy. That guy's a piece of shit. How come they're doing that? Why are they doing that? It sounds like that in here, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound that much like, we need to grow, Mom. Mm-hmm. Okay? The growth comes when we question our parts. That's where the growth comes. The growth comes when we put these voices in our head to the test. Why are you asking me to do that? Like the growth comes when you figure this out. Do you know you never, ever, ever have disliked anyone in your life? You have never disliked anyone. A part of you disliked someone and you disliked that part of you. So that person causes you to be with that part of you that you don't like. And then you say, I don't like him. But that's not you. You've never questioned that part of you and said, what's up, bro? Why don't we like him? You see? The growth comes when we question our parts. There is no other growth other than that. There is none. I don't care how many seminars you've been to. I don't care about your enlightenment. I don't care about your nonsense about I've grown. You know who tells you that you've grown? Another part of you that comes in to tell your friends, I've grown a lot lately. Well, name someone that also believes that. The growth comes when we start leading these parts of ourselves and identifying them. The growth comes when I know that I got a judgmental guy inside here and I don't just use judgment. I actually question that part of me and say, why are you currently judging that person? That's where growth comes. And that's me questioning the parts of me questioning the system that runs me. In order to grow, we have to question the system that operates us. We have to see. You know, most of you could call your parents and know exactly how to flip them out. They just got back from a meditation retreat. You got them going, motherfucker, in a second. It's like, how'd that meditation go, Mom? Because that's not dealing with the parts of us. That's just meditating to try to get them to shut up. That's like a parent being in a very loud house with kids jumping off the furniture, rambunctious, running the show, and then going into the bathroom for a timeout. You're not going to grow. It's when you come back and take control of that house. And you question everything your children inside are trying to do. You question every part of you. Why do you want me to grab my phone? What am I going to get from that? Why do you want me to eat those fries? You know, all the bad behavior, you know, like the godlike behaviors, you know, they don't come from the children in us. Like I don't have an inner child that's going, sweep the floor. I have an inner child that's going, watch the porn. Eat the bad food. Get that girl, whatever. But the adults, the big brothers, you know what they say? Feed the baby. That part's of me. So when I question these lower parts of me, when I see that most people react by the first part of them. So when they're in a conversation, they react. And they react from the most reactive part of them. And they never ask the reactive part, why would we say that? And then it says, say that to them. And then we say that to them. And we never go, why would I, wait, why would I say that? You know, I play poker, so I'm learning a lot about this too, because I use it as my practice when I play. And I have very reactionary parts, and they get activated when I play poker, and they get activated when I lose. And they get activated when there's a major decision to make. It gets loud in here, and everybody starts chiming in. And when I have a big decision to make, I got to quiet everything down, and I got to listen to my parts. I got to listen and question the committee. I got to be a leader to my parts. I got to say, yeah, it's a good idea, but hold off for a second. I need to hear from your older brother. Yeah, but hold off for a second. I need to hear from your middle brother. Yes, it's like a CEO hearing from his employees in the boardroom. And we got to slow this thing way down to be able to do this. You got to slow it down to see that you're not doing it. Angie asked me the other day, because we're doing me and her talk about the. First of all, she lives with me, so she doesn't get to talk about anything else. You know, we just don't get to do it. So I am passionate about this being the answer for improvement and peace and all of it. And so I talked to her a lot, and she said, so listen, she goes, so is everything we hear inside here not us? Yes. Yes. Everything you hear talking in here isn't you. How can you be what you can hear? You see? You can't be what you can see. You can't be what you can experience. So being in here, you're experiencing your parts. You're experiencing the 8-year-old you. The person that protect you from embarrassment when you were 12. You're experiencing your parents. You're experiencing all these parts of you, but you forgot and you think they're all you. But they're not. And when you close your eyes, just wait for instruction. Just close your eyes and just sit in your office. Just sit in your house and wait for one of your children to show up. You won't know who's coming to talk to you next. I promise. When you close your eyes and wait, you will see that one of your parts shows up. And you will also see that you're surprised. Imagine that. You're surprised by what shows up. It ain't you doing it. You're experiencing it. This growth comes you want to be with people, you want to be with difficult people, the reason you can't is because you can't be with these parts of yourself that don't like the difficult people. It's that simple. And your part says to you, stay away from them. I don't like them. Your part creates a boundary. And all you have to do is look at that part and go, what are you doing, bro? They just said they don't like Trump. You see? And what a time. I can't be with somebody that likes Trump or doesn't like Trump. Oh, God. Jesus, grow up. You, as a part of you that is so scared of them that you can't even be with that part of you, so you got to let that part of you just talk. And we can't even be alone because no humans know the secret that they're not doing it. So all the humans are fighting with each other because parts of them don't like parts of someone else. And we can't grow up past that. Instead, oh, this part of me is all excited and doesn't like my cousin because they posted this shit. And oh, God, I'm going to get on here and post. Shut up. Watching people post. Oh, my God, what are you trying to convince the other person of? You know, there's a part of them that will never, ever, 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 ever. Do you know anyone that ever changes? No, you don't. You've never changed anyone's mind ever. Just imagine that. Facebook is 0 for a billion. 1 billion people have got on that keyboard violently and tried to change someone's mind. You're a moron. I'm going to change their mind with this comment. Nope, didn't work. Crazier shit comes back every time. And I would say, what part of you needs to convince them? You're so secure that you need to convince somebody else. What part of you needs to do that? You know, since I've been sober, I haven't had to tell anyone that I'm not going to use drugs anymore. I've been pretty clear and confident that I'm not going to use drugs anymore. But I see a lot of people that are sober trying to convince me they're not going to use drugs anymore. And I can say about 100% of people that said they're not going to use drugs anymore use drugs. So what part of them is trying to convince me and speak to me and tell me they're not going to use drugs anymore? And I would say you need to talk to that part of you and see why it's so nervous about not using drugs anymore. You know, there's a lot here. And I just want to encourage people to see that the depths of what hopefully we're getting into. That we don't just have conversations with people, that parts of us do, and they have conversations with other parts of people. And in fact, there's no one leading it. And you wonder why you get in an argument. You wonder why you can't get along. Because it's like the neighbor and the other neighbor are letting both children just come out and duke it out in the middle of the street. And there's nobody questioning their own parts. And the begging of you and the imploring of you to say, hey, look this is about you getting to know your motivation of your parts and to see your beautiful system that you have. That when you take a look at why your parts do what they do, there's this beauty in it that they're really just trying to protect you and they've kind of got dysfunctional. But they want what's good for you. You know, that older brother that came up with the alibi and said, you know, tell her that we just had to go to the bathroom. What a stud. You know, what a good dude. It's like my loyal friend that just has my back and would never snitch on me. It's like, I got to ride with that guy. But I also got to be able to go, dude, you got to grow up a little bit. I thank you for your service, but I'm not going to be lying to my wife. So I love this process and I'm engaged in it. And if you don't understand, which I could see that, it's okay. You just say, hey, part of me gets it, part of me doesn't understand. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what you're asking. And that's fine. but I encourage you to, really look and see. I know when people are talking to their parts, and I know when their parts are talking. I can tell the difference. You see? You can hear it if you listen. And then you can hear if somebody's leading those things. Okay. Who's next?
Art,
Yes.
I came here because I'm a survivor. I'm an ex-drug user myself when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
and I got straight, but John took a little bit longer, and then he's straight, and so this whole group is like a surviving group. And so I feel comfortable being around people that all have the same positive energy of being survivors. And so I feel good being around that kind of group. And I read an article where it says like-minded people do better when they are around a group that is positive and surviving. Whereas you're around people that are negative and with those will get high, will get high. You're hanging around the wrong kind of group. This is a good group and a positive group. And so I kind of want to contribute to that and work with that environment versus hanging around a bunch of guys that said, let's go get high.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Now, what part of you?
Break it down.
Well,
And you're a good leader.
yeah. Well,
And I admire that. And so that's part of the positiveness that you're flowing out. It all starts at the top,
yeah.
which I've worked at different jobs over my lifetime. And if you got a stick boss,
Yeah.
you got a big crew.
Yeah.
And you got a good boss, you got a good crew. And a nice boss, they're all nice people. And so you've been a good leader, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's a positive energy, and you're trying to correct our flaws and point out our flaws. And that I see as part of the positive energy.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
You're not being negative, you're just, when you talk about,
It's where I'm leading you to is the question.
Sure, go ahead.
Where I'm leading you to is the question. And
Go ahead.
what do I think the importance of you being here and why you're here? And I think that there's part of us that don't believe and aren't really convinced that we're here for ourselves, but rather an obligation or to be here, or yes, positive energy or contagion. Like that.
It's a good disease. It is a
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
First again.
Yeah. Okay, Amanda. Let's go. Okay.
We want to know.
I don't want now listen. You gotta I want to slow it down. You see, I want to get the visual here of what just happened, just even right there. I'm trying to get people to breathe and slow it down to, when they say in football, they say a quarterback that's been in the league for like 10 years, the game slows down for them so that everything looks real slow and it doesn't even matter. They're getting older. They can just find the right move. Okay. So part of you just said, what do I want to know? Now I want you to question that part. Start right there. Okay, so that part spoke for you and said, what do you want to know? And then you didn't ask it. Why would we say that? Okay. I want to start right there. Okay, now what's next? What part of you wants to talk and what does it want to talk about?
Well, I similarly think I come here because I'm a try-hard person. And I just, if I keep trying hard, maybe our problems will get better.
Okay.
And it is hard to look at my own stuff.
Okay. Well, I don't, let's start right there. What do you mean it's hard?
To look at my own
Okay.
responsibility for my stuff.
Okay. Well, there's a part of you, there's parts of you, correct? Okay. Now let's talk to the part of you that's mad at Micah. Let's talk from that part. What are you mad? What's it mad at him for?
Hurting me.
Okay. How does he hurt you?
Get really afraid.
Okay. You get scared, you get afraid. But how does it hurt you?
I get my feelings hurt. I feel like effort has gone unreceived.
Okay. Okay. So now that part of you that feels that hurt, is that a younger part of you or an older part of you? A young part of you. Okay. And when that part of you feels that hurt with Micah, do you talk to him from that part? Does that part say something to him?
Maybe the part that tries to interact with him is a part that's trying to do it all right and be right. And not messed up.
Okay, so maybe another part of you comes in and says, yeah, but we can't act like a little hurt kid. We need to act like a civil adult here. Right? Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you go from you're hurt, and really you're hurt. And that part of you's hurt. Okay? And you don't generally, you want that part of you that's hurt to kind of just go away and be quiet right now. Right? And instead, because that part doesn't want to be seen, this other part comes in to protect you and say, we're going to put on a front like we're not hurt. Right? And we're going to speak from this. Or calm. We're going to put on a front like we're calm. Okay, first thing I want you to know is how that comes off, or how most people that are hurt can say they're not hurt, but no one in the world would believe them. Most people, like, you ever had somebody ask you why you're angry, and then someone goes, I'm not angry. It's like 100% of the time they're angry. You see, never have we asked somebody, falsely accused somebody of being angry. Just like we haven't falsely accused somebody of being hurt. Okay, so now you have a part of you that's hurt, and you're not dealing with that part of you. So my thing about growth here is that if Amanda wants to grow from this, she's got to question the part of her that's hurt and talk to that part of you and ask it why it's hurt. And if you're going to speak to Micah, you've got to be vulnerable enough to let that part of you possibly be okay and say, yeah, this part of me just hurt. Right? But when we come in with the other part to try to protect the system and try to look good, it's inauthentic. And it leads to a disdain on the parts of someone else. They don't like that. You're fake, they say, or that's what a part of them says, right? So the growth here comes that when Micah shows you a part of yourself and that part speaks up and that part is hurt, stay with that part. The problem is you don't want to be with that part. The problem is you can't be there with that. And so some other parts come in to try to protect you. And I'm saying, how are you going to grow if you don't talk to that little girl and say, thank you, sweetie. You've been there my whole life, protecting me from hurt. You're awesome, but I need to speak to you. I need to see why you're hurt. Now ask it why it's hurt. See, seriously, ask that part why it's hurt. What would it say? What would it say as an argument to why it's hurt?
Cause I've worked really hard to build a beautiful life.
Okay. So it's about you. Okay. Now try to make that part about Micah.
It's got messy.
Okay. So that part of you thinks that Micah not doing well in life is going to bring down the beautiful life. Is that possible?
Here.
Okay. Now, don't you see that until we deal with that part of ourselves, that it can never be about helping Micah? That it can only be about protecting that hurt? And then when we try to approach somebody else to try to help them, they can sense that. And I'm not saying it's only you, Amanda. I'm saying we're all this way. I'm saying that this is the pinnacle of our growth. Is that when we say it's about someone else or helping someone else, it's about stopping them from hurting us. That's the truth. We haven't grown to the point where we're helping people. We've only gotten to a point where we don't want them to hit these hurt parts of us anymore, so we want them to stop behaving how they're behaving. And that's why it gets heated. That's why we get upset. Because it's not about them. It's about our life and our story and our reputation and the parts of us that were hurt when we were kids. You see? You see, my son, he's going to grow up. And he's going to say some things to me. And if that ignites parts of me that are hurt or parts of me that are angry, guess what? My son's going to experience parts of me that I don't even like. And if I can't talk to that part of me and say, hey, calm down. He's not going to take you down. It's okay, bro. Relax. And if I can't relax my own parts, I'll put all my stuff on him. You see? I know this process. I know what it means all day to sit in a car and drive and question your own parts. I mean, everything. Question everything you hear. Question its motivation. Why did you say it to me? Why are you saying that right now? Why are we talking about this? I also know what it's like to bring forth parts. You know, before I did this group tonight, I had to call on a part. It's like being in my office and I call on a creative part and say, hey, come on down to my office. Let's talk about what we're doing tonight. That's how it works. And a creative part comes in and gives me ideas, and then it's awesome. And then we share time, and then I come and have something to give. That's creativity. As a part of me, I have to call for. But now, I have to do this only by acknowledging that none of these parts of me are me. So I'm not when you say it's tough to hear, it shouldn't be. It's so simple. You have this beautiful part of your system that's been protecting you that gets hurt when things don't go its way. And you got to thank her because she's acknowledging and saying, it shouldn't be this way, Mom. So you got this little part of you that just screams when it's not the way it should be. And what if you didn't have that part? Well, you'd be oblivious. So you got this part of you that screams and says, it shouldn't be this way. And then you listen to that part and go, it shouldn't be this way. And it's waiting for a grown-up to say, well, listen, honey, it is this way. And we're the parent. And we're going to guide. And it's okay. Because it ain't about me. And what do you want right now? Well, I want it to not be this way. I want to protect you. I don't want you to be hurt anymore. Okay, but I'm not. You are. You're hurt. I'm not hurt. That part of you is hurt. You're not hurt. Now talk to the other part that aren't hurt. You see, there's older, wiser parts that go, we shouldn't be hurt by this. And once you question that part and say, why are we hurt? The other parts are empowered to speak up. But if you keep listening to that hurt part, then you're hurt. You see? You know, I even have a part of me that's tired sometimes. You know, for me to get tired, I have to have a part of me tell me I'm tired. It's like, you're tired. Well, I didn't know that. Shit. I didn't know until you told me. And so now I've even learned how to like kind of combat tired. It's like, just talk to the part of you that aren't tired. Was there parts of you that aren't tired? Yeah, there's a part of me that's over here that's not tired. Well, let's hang out with that dude. He's not tired. But do you know people portray their parts? You know, a lot of it's big in this program. Recovering addicts for some reason are the most tired people you've ever heard. They're always, it's the same thing. Hey, what's up? Just tired. Hey, what's up? Just tired. Jesus, you're 24. I didn't sleep until I was 40. The first time I slept, I was 38 years old. I didn't sleep from 20 to 38. And the only if I did, it was because I ran out of money. That's true. And now these kids are like 30 years old, sleeping. What the hell? I'm tired. Well, you stare at your phone all day and you eat energy drinks and crash. You're tired. Anyways, you see, I have to become the part of me in order to be what the part of me tells me to be. I can't be tired without becoming that part of me. I can't be angry without becoming that part of me. You see, anger is a part of me. I was talking to my wife the other day and she was upset with me. And it's brilliant. I've got this new brilliant thing. She goes, I go, I see you're upset with me. She said, yeah. And I go, well, is there any party that's not upset with me? And she goes, yeah. And I go, well, let's talk to that part. It's genius. And she laughed just like that. And I'm out of it. You know? Well, you just talk to that part that's upset and tell them not to be, and we'll roll. It's a genius new strategy. You see? You know, this is an encouragement and a begging. If I had one night to talk to the humans, this is my last night to talk to the humans, I would say, please, please see it. I beg you. Please don't just do this and 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 do this. Please understand that you had a robotic voice telling you to do this and do this and do this and do this. And until you start questioning the feedback loop, until you start acknowledging that it's not you telling you to do it. You know, people say, I think. No, you don't. It thinks. They think. And you experience what they think. If you think, make it stop. You can't. It doesn't stop thinking. And what its number one topic is that it thinks about is you. It just talks about you all the time. And it's not you. You can't be what you can hear. You're the thing hearing it. Now you can question it. That's probably got to be you, or a very similar closest part that could be you. That's a big, wise, godlike part of you that can question what you're hearing. To be able to give some feedback to the feedback loop. You know, in order to decide how I'm going to be, I got to question how I'm being. And I got to understand why I'm being that way. And that's the work. So the doorway came open, drugs showed up. The doorway came open, difficulty showed up. But this purpose is only to walk in the room of improvement for you and growth for you, and the growth being talking to the parts of yourself and getting to know them. And actually seeing that you can be self-led, that you can be a person that's not a robot to your parts, that doesn't have to be reactionary, can actually run the company, can be in here with some wisdom and actually hear from all your parts and thank them for their service and see the beauty in them. There are no bad parts. You know, I just can't understand why people can't see that 50% of the country didn't go nuts. And I don't care what side you're on, you probably believe 50% of the people absolutely went nuts. And I want you to talk to that part of yourself and say, can that be? Or is it possible that parts of people are experiencing different things in life than the other parts of you haven't experienced? That it's all about viewpoint and the pain that each individual has been through and their experience. And that every human being has all good parts and good motivation, but they have different experiences and their parts are running that. And so everyone's getting online saying 50% of the people have gone nuts, and it must be baffling to live in a world that that's happened. But for me, that's just not true. My nephew is as far left as you can go. He's not even a Democrat. He's something else. And when Charlie Kirk died, he's on there, right away, basically saying it's okay, whatever. And so I invited my nephew over for dinner tomorrow and said, all right, let's talk. Let's see if we can mesh if we can talk to the parts of ourselves that are upset with each other and work out some kind of deal that we can love each other. I want to hear your viewpoint. I want to hear why you got where you got. Fundamental attribution error. What that means. Fundamental attribution error means that when we see bad behavior from another human being, we always attribute it to an internal flaw. And when we have bad behavior ourselves, we always attribute it to an external cause. That's the fundamental attribution error. So we see other humans not doing what we want, and we say, what a piece of shit, what a crazy lunatic, they're all messed up. And when we do something wrong, we say, well, it was because that happened. And 100% of the time, when you're speeding down the road, you don't go, I'm speeding because I'm an asshole. But yet, when somebody speeds by you, there you go. What an asshole. You see? Fundamental attribution error. And can't we at least see that that's a human bias and that we should actually look into the external causes of why their internal belief system has been created? And that if we could just give each other the benefit of the doubt and say if we experience the life they experience, we'd probably think the same way. Lo and behold, my nephew is a socialist, and he walks it like he talks it. He's got 6 kids that live in his house, and he pays the mortgage, and they don't pay him a dime. And he's got a community garden, and he's got that, and everyone that's around him is trans, and he's gay, and he's in the mix. So lo and behold, he's left. And that's not because he's flawed. I tell my sister it is, but you really raised a good one here. I called him a prick last year, and my sister saw me on tape calling him a prick. She wouldn't talk to me. You called your nephew a prick. Anyway, he's a prick.
How old is he?
He's in his 30s. He's a tech guy. He's got to figure out what color his hair is going to be this week. Not too sure whoever he's dating brings over. I don't know what to call him. They, and I do it awkwardly. Is they coming over? The fuck? And this was happening long before it was trendy. So my sister would say, they's coming for Christmas. The fuck are you saying, Shane? It wasn't trendy then. This was like 10 years ago. My nephew's in the forefront of it. So. But he's good. He's a good heart and he's a good person. And so we'll talk it out. We'll see. I want you guys to see the technology here, and I want you to see what it looks like. I want you to see what it really feels like to be in a car and to be alone and go, I want to hear from my parts. I'm going to hear what they have to say. And I want you to feel what it feels like to question them. Why did you just say that? I want you to know right now, parts of you are talking to you and saying, hey, he's this and he's that. And I want you to look back at that part and go, why'd you just say that? What do you mean? What do you know? You know? You got a part of you talking right now. Throughout this whole thing, it's been talking. It's been analyzing and judging and giving its commentary. And has there been a time where you said, why are you commentating right now? Let's get bold and speak out. No, another party will say, don't do that. You see, this is growth. Now we said solution group. Okay, I got them. Get to know your parts and talk to them. You're hurt? No, that's not all of you that's hurt. That's a part of you. You're offended? That's not all of you. Talk to the part that's not. Talk to the parts offended and see why. You're complaining? You know what that part is saying? What is a part of us complaining about? What does it want? A part of us is complaining. You know what it wants? It wants validation. It wants validation. You know, it's like you do the dishes and the part of you goes, geez, I got to always do the dishes. You got to question that part. Why are you complaining about doing the dishes? And if you see the motivation behind that part. It's not complaining about doing dishes. It's complaining about the lack of acknowledgement for doing the dishes. You see, if your family all came in and said, Mom, the dishes again, it's amazing. That's all you needed. You see, the parts of us that complain, they don't want any change. They just want acknowledgement. I do this all the time. Well, you don't want to stop doing that all the time. You just want someone to say thank you. A parent's not complaining that they do everything for their kid. They don't want to stop doing things for their kid. They're addicted to it. They love doing things for their kid. They just want some goddamn acknowledgement. They want some appreciation. We just want to be acknowledged and appreciated. And that's what our parts want, all of them. And so when we start doing it for ourselves, thanking our parts, thanking that part of us that's hurt and saying, thank you for sticking up for me. Thank you for sticking up for me. Thank you for having my back in this world where I feel like nobody else does. Now we're validating that part. Now we're doing it. We're validating our own parts. Now we don't need the external validation. But if you don't validate that part is going to need the external validation and it's going to talk through you. Okay. Well, I hope it helps. And I hope it jars you a little bit. You know, don't just do the feedback loop tomorrow and walk around like a robot. Actually start questioning yourself, questioning these parts of you. You know, I'm habitual with it. I question everything. Why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? Why do you want me to say that? Why do you want me to do that? Why do you want me to do that? It's fun. When I go to bed at night now, I used to grab my phone and watch TikTok, but now I go in and I get a chance to listen to my parts and I see what, you know, at night our parts get real active. You know, the scared parts, the worried parts, they come in at night. They're not there all day. And then at night, they come in to like wake you and go, what if this happens? And it gets real serious at night. You're like, oh shit, what if this happens? And then you're wide awake and you're listening to one of your parts. And you think you got to like call someone to like do something. It's the middle of the night. You can't even talk to the person. When then what you realize when you wake up is that part went silent again. You forgot all about it. It just came in to mess up your night's sleep. Yes.
Who are they? I'm not trying to be funny.
Yes.
No, I'm sincere.
Yes.
When you talk about they, like I'm kind of wilding out a little bit over here.
Yeah.
Like who
You don't know yet.
the fuck are they?
Yeah.
You don't know
Like,
yet.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, it's-
Okay. Now, before you answered that, there was something inside you that was saying, who are they?
Facts.
Okay. That's them. Whatever was saying, who are they? You heard, Who are they?
That's my brain.
No.
I own my brain.
Okay, no.
My
You
brain
can,
may say questions that send signals to me that is, I own my brain and I can
Okay.
take control.
okay. If you own your brain, when you want to stop thinking, how do you do that?
I don't think the brain ever stops. Your brain is
Okay,
constantly.
but do you understand if you were doing something, like if you were thinking, do you understand that you could just stop thinking that? Like if you were eating, you could stop eating. Because you're eating, you could stop eating. But what if eating was just happening all the time? Would you be doing it? You know, our heart, you could say you own your heart, but it pumps blood. Do you pump blood?
No.
Your heart does. And
Well, our
your
brain sends signals to our body.
and you don't control those signals whatsoever.
Correct.
Okay. So those signals come in the form of a voice. Okay. That's that.
But where are
All-
they coming from is my question.
They're coming from
We
we don't know. It could be whatever ocean you want to think they're coming from. God.
Okay.
Shit. But for all we know, I could be an avatar of a kid's video game and he could be pushing B real quick and I'm talking. It's like, I'm gonna watch this fat guy eat these cookies tonight. You see? Who knows? But I would say that we are just an experiencer of God's work or our brain's work or whatever it is. And when you really get that there's a stream of thought and that you can't, that you just got to see and experience it, you really start understanding the gravity. And when you really start understanding that our thoughts are formed by different parts of us and that they're different parts of us popping up to protect us.
What about someone with like ADHD or something? How would they be? Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like ADHD is like being a parent and having a kid that keeps jumping on the furniture. You know?
Yeah.
So that person that has ADHD, they don't have ADHD, they have a part of them that's rambunctious.
Yeah.
And so if they would speak to that part of them and go, you know, hey, can we talk?
Yeah.
You see? It's just like depression. Is all of you depressed? No, there's depression. Well, what part of you is depressed? Well, this part of me. Okay, well, let's talk to the parts that aren't depressed. Okay, there. There's anxiety. What are you, anxious? Yeah, well, what happens when we get anxious? Well, part of us starts getting kind of loud and irritated and rambunctious and tells us to do something. Okay, ask that part what it wants. It works all like that. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Art.